Everyone, this is Defense Politics Asia, and this is the quick update over on the situation of the Battle of Bakhmut. So this is Bakhmut city, and the situation here have changed. But first, before I start, previously I marked the meat processing plant as here. No, here, this is wrong. So apparently, after I read some of the intel, the sources, I felt that something is not right, and I did a renewed effort to try to find where is this meat processing plant. Apparently it's here. So apparently it's here. So on the map, so previously I marked it around here, and I cannot remember where I've geolocated that place, and it's wrong. So apparently it's a much bigger plant, which is actually here. So this is actually the meat processing plant. I managed to find it through another map source, the OpenStreetMap, and because it's just the intel just doesn't match up. So which is why I decided to make this search, and which is why the other day when we have the report of all this fighting along these two streets, and it's so close to the meat processing plant that I marked previously. I was already raising doubts. So in the latest intels that I'm reading, I realized that there is definitely something's wrong with it. So so the meat processing plant is now here. So so what happens is that there is fighting around the meat processing plant region, which means that the Russian forces actually from the Pihoronne region actually have pushed down from this direction. So we do have geolocation to suggest that the Russian forces is around here. The meat processing plant currently is still under Ukrainian control. It's not under Russian control, and however there is a lot of Ukrainian forces that seems to have bounced from this region, allowing the Russians to make good progress around here. And on the eastern side, there's definitely still fighting around this region, but it's not the focus by the sources lately in these 2 days, because there are bigger developments elsewhere. Further in the north, the Russian forces previously I mentioned in the previous reports, they have entered the Stupka district, and there is geolocations of Ukrainian forces running away, retreating, and this region here, the Ukrainian forces indeed seems to have some limited withdrawal, but it's hard to tell. Prigozhin, the Wagner private military contractors boss, say that the Ukrainians are defending every single building, every single street. So the information might not be as accurate as we might think. So maybe there is partial withdrawals, but there are Ukrainian reinforcement as well. The Russians are also, as per usual, was attacking from Opitne region, moving up, and they're fighting around here. And there's new development. The Russian forces have pushed through from the southwestern part of Bakhmut, and they are now fighting around the region here, at the cemetery region. There's a cemetery over here, and the Ukrainian forces is currently defending this region here. And over on the southwest part or western part of Bakhmut, in the region of Ivaniske, where the major supply route to Bakhmut is under threat, and the latest information suggests that the Russian forces is now nearing the street around here. It's getting very close. It's around 1 kilometer, and the Russians have been pushing through this forested area where the Ukrainians seems to have trouble holding. And latest information also suggests that the Russian forces is moving towards the southwest of Ivaniske, and on top of the normal push that is coming from the south towards Ivaniske. And there is also further information seems to suggest that there might be a Russian push from this direction, from the southwest of Bakhmut, moving up. So if this road, so currently at this moment what we understood is that there is certain level of fire control along the road here. It doesn't feel very convincing to me, but there might be some fire control. Because it's still a forested area, so even if it's 1 kilometer, it's not so easy to put effective fire on this road. But the window is closing, and so interestingly is that previously I thought that the Russians might push this direction here. They didn't, and then I thought that they might just capture Ivaniske and all this cause fighting here first. They didn't. They actually go to the west of Ivaniske from this here to cut through from here. And regardless where they break on this road, once it cannot be used, then the Ukrainians will have to start to make the very difficult decision to whether to withdraw through this remaining road through Khromove. And tentatively, there isn't any very clear signs of the Ukrainians planning to withdraw. There's a lot of rumors, but I'm not sure if I want to trust the rumors, because there are still certain reports of reinforcement. We just reported just 2 days ago, and tentatively the Ukrainian forces is still trying to build up a strong defense around Chasiv Yar. And this Russian push might actually go into the forest region here, and they might actually just go for this road here and cut off. I think this might be the move, which is why the concentration of forces seems to be around this region here, trying to push up. And if this is true, then the situation is a lot more dire than I thought. If you notice, the closest point between this road and this road is indeed around this area. So and it's not going to be this area because it's urban here. The Ukrainian forces can easily defend this area through the urban region here. So I think this might be the move. Fighting through the forest around this region seems to be doing really well for the Russians. Penetrating into this forest might also make it really hard for the Ukrainians to defend. And this distance here is probably around 2.5 kilometers or 2 kilometers based on the legend here. So this might be the move, and this will actually mess up the withdrawal, and the Ukrainians will have to do more complicated withdrawals through all these smaller roads, through the farmlands to withdraw. And this withdrawal through the farmlands to avoid the Russian forces here will reduce the number of defenders at Chasiv Yar. So this might be the chess move that the Russian forces might be doing. So anyway, this is just the analysis and a quick update over at the Battle of Bakhmut. Sorry for this misplotting of the meat processing plant, because it really isn't very clear. I have to use the OpenStreetMap. OpenStreetMap is a lot more detailed in terms of the specific points and location, but it doesn't come out in the search. You have to actually hunt for it. So yeah, it is a bit troublesome in that sense. So anyway, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next update.